Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am going to attempt to make a woven cutting board out of all of these pieces. Now this is something that I've seen done on some other channels with some other woodworkers, so I would like to do my own and see how this comes out. So I have some ideas on how I want to do the patterns, so let's get going. Alright, so now I got a whole bunch of these strips, so I can make the little cutting boards now that I will use to weave a pattern into them, and each one of these goes in between to make up for the kerf of the bandsaw. So these are quite flexible here, so that'll be the next step here, is to make a bunch of little boards to weave. Okay, so I made these boards here, which would actually make pretty good like little cheese boards or something. These are cool, but these are what's going to get woven into here. Now these are some of those other pieces I had earlier, and then these here are going to be in between each cut to make up for the space of the blade kerf of the bandsaw. So the next part here is to get these put on over the top of here, and I'll scribe out a line and cut it on the bandsaw, and then I'll glue it back together. So that's the next step here, is with these. Now I'm just going to secure these onto here with just some hot glue on this side and this side, and this is overhanging about that much over the board. And you'll see why when I make the cut on here. So just a little bit of hot glue should hold this on. Then I can pop this off when it's dry after I make the cut, make it easier. Okay, so now I have to weave this into here. This should get me my radius, my curve that I want. So now I'll just simply mark this out. And then now I'll take this over to the bandsaw and cut this out. So all I need to do now is pop that off. This one came off. That's nice, the hot glue. So this here, this one fit into there, and this one will fit into there. All the little offcuts I will glue up. Gotta scrape this hot glue off of there. But now is when I will glue in this piece right in between there. That's gonna be a nice tight fit there once it's glued. Nice. That's gonna be real good. So I'm gonna glue this up next. Here will be the next part. Okay, here we go. Glue this up. Okay, so I've got everything glued up here. I've got the cutoffs glued up here of each one. So what I cut off of the other one, I glued up. And then these are the opposing pieces that came off of here that are all glued up now. I showed you how I did one, and then I just did the other ones off camera just because no sense in showing the same thing over and over. So I'm gonna put these are about right where I want them, right here. So I'm gonna line these up here and then glue these together and then mark another line and then cut these again and then do the same gluing thing. So that's what's next, to get these glued together and then cut another wavy line in this to weave them together. So that's the next step. Same routine as last time. I'm just gonna mark this. We'll go cut it out on the bandsaw. I got this set up. Okay, now time to go cut it out. Alright, let's see what this looks like now. Peel these off. So, here. This one goes there. This one goes here. So, with this in the middle of it, pretty cool. That's neat. Now this one here, this in the middle, or somewhere right in there. Needs to get clamped, but something like that. So far, this will be another one glued by itself off to the side after I cut the second one, because this will get weaved into this as well in a different series of cuts. It's all cut and glue. Nice. Alright, so let's see what these two cutoffs are like. Split this apart. Here, this one here, this one goes with this one, and this one goes with this one. So put the piece in between, put that, the other one, be like that. So every time I make a cut, one cut, it's two glue ups. So in order to do the board, I'm making one cut here and one cut on the other board. So for every two cuts is 4 glue ups every time, which means in order to weave this board the way that I want it, it's a lot of cutting and gluing of these pieces up, and I still have a long way to go on this. So the next glue up I will do here really quickly, and with all the gluing, I don't think I'm going to show every single glue up, and I haven't been in this video, so I'll just show what it looks like after I glue it up, because otherwise it'd just be a video of just me gluing up everything. So I'll show this after I get it glued together. After doing these last two glue ups, I ended up with all these scrap pieces over here. But what I'm thinking is, instead of putting this together here, all these pieces here, and gluing these together like this and trying to weave this piece into the middle of this, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to glue this in the middle of here and then take some of these other pieces and weave this right into here, and then take another one and weave this right into here. So it'll be a couple more cuts, couple more glue ups on this, and I think that less is going to be more on this, but I won't really know until actually I get this glued up and get this first one woven into here, like something like that. I'll figure that out, the details of that. But what I will do is take this piece and glue this together, these little offcuts, then I can use this with another piece of walnut on the outside and weave this piece into 2 more boards to make a second cutting board. So this project has actually turned into 1 cutting board is now turning into 2. So I'm getting 2 for almost the work of 1 here. So that's where I'm going to go next here. I'm going to start with gluing up this, and then I'm going to glue this up. One more through the middle here to break up all the straight pieces in the middle. I've learned to hold this pencil at the end so we don't put pressure on the veneer, this little piece, because it'll move it out of the shape, which is not what you want. So anyway, should be it for that. Shape, go cut it out. So after gluing this back together here, I've made some couple of cut lines here, which are where the planer snipe is, so that has to get cut off, which makes the overall length of the board about 20 inches. So with the width of this and kind of the way it looks, this looks like a neat river going through here of the different weave pattern, which is cool, but it's not really what I'm shooting for. I want to expand this weave out a little bit. So what I want to do is put another cut right into here, like this, and then maybe another cut coming through here, just to expand on this idea a little bit, and it will help balance this out, especially after I cut this length. This here will be the same length as there, so I'm going to cut a little bit of this board off over here to get an overall 16 inches in width. So it'll be 16 by 20. So the next thing to do here is to mark this somewhere about here, and then cut it out on the bandsaw and then reglue it. So that'll be the next step. Alright, so I made it to here. This one is all glued together now, and this is done. Lots of little weavy, stitchy things in here. So this one's done. It just needs to get trimmed down now and turned into a cutting board, which that'll be the next step. But I still have this piece, which is the cutoffs from the other one. So what I'm going to do is weave this one into these boards just the same exact way that I did the bottom one. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. No sense in me showing it on camera, because I'm going to do this one the same way I did this one, except it's going to look different because it's different boards. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do that one, and then I'll start turning these into cutting boards, starting with planing them down through the big planer. So that'll be the next step. Alright, here's the second one right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put both of these on a piece of plywood. I'm going to switch them off with the wedges underneath it, and I'm going to run these through the planer now. And I'm really excited about this, just to see what this all looks flattened out. Also, the purple heart will disappear. The purple goes away when you run this through the planer. That's because purple heart wood needs to be exposed to UV light or oxygen for a period of time in order to turn purple. So when I first put them through the planer, you're going to be probably asking yourself, what happened to the purple? Well, because it disappears. It'll come back, trust me. So next part, let's put these through the planer. So I popped it off of the plywood that had the wedges on it to keep it flat. And so now I'm going to do the other side. So here we go with that. Alright, so there's both sides planed down. So now I'm going to do the other one, and then we're going to start cutting and shaping these, cutting the ends off and whatnot. So that'll be next. Okay, so I cut the two sides. Now we have two cutting boards that are exactly the same. So these are looking really pretty. But the next part here is that I'm going to put a chamfer on all the edges, top and the bottom. And then the next part will be the juice groove. So I'll get going on that. And then we'll get to sanding and then doing the handholds and the plate cutout. So here comes hours and hours worth of sanding here. I'm not going to show all the sanding, but I'm going to start. Alright, so like I do with furniture and everything else, it's time to make this wood shine. So, burnish it, polish it up, polish the wood, because that's where the finish is at. And that's where it really shines. Alright, so we have made it to this part of putting the finish on these. So, we're going to start off with some Howard cutting board oil, and then going to be using the butcher block conditioner after that, which has beeswax and carnauba wax and vitamin E and also some mineral oil in that as well. So, as you can see, I'm a little bit short on this, so we're going to go as far as we can with this, and then we'll use the butcher block conditioner after that, as soon as this runs out. So, here we go, moment of truth. Let's see how these look. Here we go. We got my daughter Audrey in here helping me with doing these. So this is fun. Wow, look at that color. That is beautiful. Wow. Really pops out. Okay, ready? Do the top. Yep, now it's gonna run out. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh God, that's gorgeous. This never gets old. This part never gets old. Well, I'm gonna use a paper towel now. You get that end. The end sucks up a lot more. Isn't it? Yeah. Nice. Now we'll let this soak in for about a couple of hours, and then we'll come back and put a few coats of this butcher block conditioner on it. Put it on, buff it out, put it on, buff it out. Do that like 3 times and it's a perfect finish. So, the next thing you'll see is the finished product.